So, you or someone you love has been given a diagnosis, a label such as diabetic, asthmatic, depressed, or obese. By definition, your label has assigned you to a category, and you may feel restricted to live your life in that box. Maybe you've accepted the label and rely on it to define you. Maybe you're convinced it's genetic, chronic, or that you're going to need to be on medication the rest of your life, that there's just nothing you can do to make yourself feel better and make this diagnosis go away. But we are assuming that since you are part of OneCare, that does not describe you. You are in it to win it, and you are hoping for lasting change. The good news is you are not alone. We at OneCare are on this journey with you, a journey of change that is within your control, if you choose to accept it. The fact is, now that you have a diagnosis, one of two things will happen. Either you will take control over this condition, or it will take control over you. With OneCare, this journey is one of science, not opinion. Our information and expertise comes from scientific data, scientific studies, and sources dating back well over half a century. We've partnered with today's leading medical, nutritional, technical, and behavioral scientists in order to support you as you make necessary and lasting positive change. While there are some things in life that just happen to us, such as earthquakes, hereditary blood diseases, birth defects, and the like, the way you live life with your particular diagnosis is not out of your control. Chronic diseases may have genetic factors which contributed to your diagnosis, but you have obviously picked up habits during your life thus far that have brought you to the point of being labeled with this condition. You now have a choice to make. You can either accept the diagnosis as the prison in which you will live the remainder of your life, or you can use the diagnosis to inform your choices and build alternate habits that support a healthy lifestyle. The commitment to behaving in such a way will make the condition just an increasingly smaller part of who you are, and not the label with which you lead through life. Labels of all kinds are almost always a step in the wrong direction from understanding the real problem. They so often fail to help a person eliminate the behavior responsible, and that the label or diagnosis itself is just a word that led the doctor to prescribe medicine, diet, and exercise. What caused your label or diagnosis has been a series of behaviors and environmental factors. If your label is diabetic, you are not a diabetic, you're a person who does things that result in diabetes. Going forward, your behavior and environment have the power to either limit or advance what you can accomplish, thus sustaining or curing the disease that brought you here. Don't accept the label as your identity. It's just a condition, and it can be temporary if you make lasting changes to support your choice to live a life free of disease. Now, to be fair, we as a nation have not been guided properly. In light of all the scientific data available, the USDA's recommendations are a disgrace. The food guide pyramid includes a level of animal food consumption that causes the diseases, heart attacks, diabetes, cancer, obesity, that kill us. Guiding us to eat this way does not offer us true protection against these killer diseases that are now epidemic in modern society. Their recommendation is not only a diet heavy in calories, but extremely low in vitamins, antioxidants, phytochemicals, and nutrients. In his book, The End of Dieting, Dr. Joel Fuhrman writes, "The standard American diet is killing us. Instead of providing us with our basic needs for good health, it has produced a nation where disease and chronic illness are considered to be inevitable and just another natural consequence of aging. High blood pressure, obesity, and heart disease are not natural consequences of aging. Being overweight is the primary cause of type 2 diabetes. It accelerates atherosclerosis and death from heart disease. In a matter of years, excess body weight is projected to overtake smoking as the primary cause of death in the United States. By the time most Americans reach the age of 50, they are already hooked on prescription drugs, and almost half of Americans still die of heart attacks and strokes. You don't have to be one of them. 28 million Americans suffer from the crippling pain of osteoarthritis. You don't have to be one of them. 35 million Americans suffer from chronic headaches. You don't have to be one of them. You simply don't have to be sick. The diseases that afflict and eventually kill almost all Americans can be avoided. You can live a high-quality, disease-free life and remain physically active and healthy. You can die peacefully and uneventfully at an old age, just as nature intended, if you are willing to take control over your own behavior. To think of your condition as something that has happened to you would make you feel helpless, hopeless. But there is hope. When you refuse to be a victim of your diagnosis and acknowledge that your own behaviors have led you here, you can determine to behave in a productive, healing way and have little room in your life for the limits of your label. You are in control of your health, your mind, and your future. You may even be able to eliminate the need for costly medications, which seek to make you feel that you're not capable of living life on your own, not without being propped up by a generic drug made for a label and not your own individual body. If it's you who's gotten you into this diagnosis, it's you who will get you out. It all comes down to behavior.